Hello, everyone. Today I have very special guest, and I'm so happy to have him here. We're gonna talk about Fertility Boost by Healing Gastrointestinal Pathogens Naturally. We are with Reed Davis, founder of Functional Diagnosis, Nutrition, and board certified holistic health practitioner. I'm very happy. Welcome to my show, Reed.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pantea. I'm sure that we'll share some good information today, and I'm very happy to be here with you. I know you've done amazing work in this field, and I'm honored to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. All right. Uh, Reed, first of all, talk about yourself. I know prior to show we talk a little bit about your background. How did you end up helping people? Because I know these days functional medicine is more recognized. Before, um, like few years ago, I didn't hear about it, but these days everybody talk about it, and I really wish to share this message with other people that your body is not only medicine proven. I mean, you don't need to heal yourself with medicine. There are lots of ways, and changing your lifestyle, nutrition, and great ways to get back to your health again.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I'd be happy to, and thank you. I got into the health field I came via way of environmental law and conservationist. So I was a conservationist back in the 90s. I was working very hard to save the whole planet, the air, the birds, the water, the trees, the bees, and what I noticed is that these things were getting very sick because of the environment. And so I just started wondering about people. What about people? What about me? I didn't have any health problems. And I found out later that most people in the health business, like yourself, they started with their own health problem. I didn't have any health problems, but I've always liked helping people. So I went to work in a clinic, and I was really hired to run the office, and it was a wellness center in Southern California. And the owner was going to get her diplomat in nutrition, and she said I could go along with her as her assistant and work on her patients in between my classes. So I was just blown away by that. I love to learn, and I was very aggressive in that area, learning and coming back and working on the patients who were coming in the office. And I mean, that's an amazing opportunity. Nobody gets that. But I was really struck by something. And again, remember, I'd never really been to a doctor. I've been to a dentist maybe a couple times. And so I was amazed that everybody coming in the office had already seen 5 practitioners, 8 practitioners, 10 practitioners, and they weren't better yet. And I thought that was strange. And I also thought it was kind of a ripoff. I thought, hey, who gets away with that? Again, I didn't understand the medical system back then, that it's basically all symptom based. And they really never spent much time back then looking for the underlying causes, conditions. They just like medicine, like you started off with drugs and surgery were the answer. And people don't want drugs or surgery for the most, even back then. So I know this sounds very naive, but at the time I said, I'm going to be the last person you need to see for your health problem. I'll do the research. I'm going to figure out what's really wrong with you. So again, it sounds kind of naive now, but I went to work just trying to do that. And what I'm well known for is that I spent the next 10 years running thousands of laboratory tests on thousands of people, trying to get as far and close to the root cause or underlying cause as possible. And I had some amazing mentorship, but I figured out a lot of things on my own. I filled in a lot of pieces of the puzzle. And what I was good at was recognizing patterns. So those are the early days. And over those 10 years, thousands of labs on thousands of people, I recognized a lot of patterns. And I came up with a system of investigation, step by step. And then one last thing about it. See, I wasn't a physician, right? So I couldn't get out a prescription pad. There's no drugs and surgery. It had to be all natural solutions. And I noticed that people were coming in the office for something chiropractic or acupuncture or see a doctor. And then I noticed they when they went home they did very little. So it was what I realized a long time ago. It's what you do at home between your office visits that matters the most. So I got very good at identifying patterns of what's really wrong, and then what people have to do at home. The lifestyle medicine is what they call it today. Uh, Things to do at home. So it became a pattern. It became a system, and everyone started telling me after 10 years, "You should teach. You should teach." Even the laboratories, Pentea, they were calling me and saying, "Who the hell are you? Nobody runs this many labs. You're our busiest person on the in the country." And so I taught my first class in 2008, and now I just teach all these years later.
I hope I could find you earlier, really, because you are doing amazing job. I'm telling you. I talk to so many people with chronic disease. They have struggling with years, for years. And then after finding functional medicine, and treating themselves. First, it's interesting. They go and find the answers. They get certified, and then they realize they can actually recover from their own problem. And it's so interesting. I have them and interviewed them, and I see, yes, there is a way. If you have a chronic disease, you can get recover, because it's not really logical to have medicine for 20 years and still have those issues.
Yeah,
Like, especially like I had asthma, and now I get much better because I changed my lifestyle. I limited a lot of um, dairy product and a lot of inflammatory nutrition from my health after uh, struggling with fertility, and then find the nutrition solution. Even my asthma got better. So then I realized, really, you don't need to struggle so much and taking medicine. And you are doing amazing and helping a lot of people. Hopefully we can share this with others, and they realize that there is hope, and there are some ways to get better, only with little change in lifestyle. Because when you go to medical doctors, not all of them go so deeply inside the root cause of issues. Okay, my client has PCOS, but they have a sleep problem. They have other underlying issues that if you discover those issues, even the PCOS will gone, will be gone.
yeah, for sure. Almost any problem, we have to first give credit to physicians where they are doing very heroic work. And,
Exactly.
I always say if you get the victim of a drive-by shooting, you're not going to call your nutritionist, right? So they do attendant care, urgent care. The way I like to explain it best, Pente, is we do work with people who are in a downward spiral of chronic degeneration. These things, like you said, they've been going on for years. Their hormones are out of balance, their digestion's not working. They get toxic, detoxification not working. Their immune system gets screwy. And so, uh, in that period of time, we can make observations and work with them to reverse the damage done, to restore balance, restore resiliency. But if that downward spiral is very contracted, like they're dying of something, some disease that they got, um, or accident or something like that, then there's no time for us to work. The observations that I make, that I teach,
Exactly.
you can't capitalize on those observations. So we need time. And that's really, it took people most of, a long time to get into the condition they're in. So you give us time and we can get you back out of it. Um,
That's interesting. I'm just dealing with my clients, and some of them are in a hurry to have their baby. But I'm saying, what if you don't realize you have underlying issues? If you don't discover them, repetitive IVF really don't help you. IVF is good, IUI is good. I'm not saying all of these treatments are good if you can discover first your problem, right?
Yes. Well, there's tricks you could play. So, and a lot of modern medicine is based on some pretty cool tricks, like the fertility treatments and things. But I'll give you a quick story. One of the first people I helped with their fertility issue, I didn't know they had a fertility issue. They had given up trying to have a baby many years before they came to see me. So they came to me for some other problems. The woman was having a lot of tiredness and fatigue and overweight, and foggy thinking, and some skin problems, and just kind of a mild train wreck, you might call it. So I said, well, we're going to do our laboratory work. We're going to give you a lifestyle medicine program, very strict, pretty strict, and you're going to live that way. From now on, you're going to live that way. And we were doing some great work together. She was feeling better. She was losing weight. Her skin was clearing up, and her even her eyes got more lively and things like that. And one day she called me. She was in the car with her husband, and she said, Reed, we have great news. We're pregnant." And
Wow.
I said, oh, well, congratulations. That's fantastic. I wonder why they're calling me for no reason. Like, I don't. And she goes, no, you don't understand, Reed. She goes, we gave up 9 years ago trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
And we know that, and we were both, when we left the office, we both looked at each other, her and her husband, and said, this is Reed. Reed did this, because he is making me so healthy. Now my body says it's okay to get to conceive and have and she went on to have a full term baby and happy as hell. And I didn't know that was their problem. So in talking about these things, it doesn't really matter what your health complaint is to me. It could be infertility, it could be PCOS, like you said.
Exactly.
It could be just Crohn's, colitis. You have all these things, foggy thinking again, migraine headaches, asthma. You mentioned asthma. I've had kids with ADD, ADHD, and it just doesn't seem to matter. Again, unless the downward spiral is very contracted and you need medical oversight. But otherwise, you give us time and we can correct a lot of things or help you return to balance and resiliency.
Beautiful. So we go back, like we need few seconds of break and we come back again, right?
Mhm.
Please subscribe to Panta Calhoun Transition channel and order my book Naturally Conceived through Amazon. Thank you for watching. All right, we are back. First, we have a comment here. Somebody asked, how do you prevent any illness? Are there specific foods or nutritional foods we should eat, or is there a nutritional plan we can follow? Yeah.
Sure. That's a great question, Nancy, I think it was. And of course, there's a diet that's right for you. And you can find the diet that's right for you. But that diet might not be the same one as for your friend or your mother or even your own child. And there's no one diet that is right for everybody, but you can find yours. I use a system that's called metabolic typing. It has to do with the genetic requirements. You must meet your genetic requirements. And since we're all from different places, it's hard to figure that out. Plus, there's been a lot of intermarriage over the last 10,000 years, let's say. So you have genetic requirements, and you have to at least first meet those. And it's not that hard to figure out. Again, I have a place you can go. It's mtdiet.com. That stands for metabolic typing diet. .com, mtdiet.com. So it's just you can go take a simple test and you can start to figure it out. Now, diet's not the only thing you need to be healthy. It's a great foundation. You need the nutrients. If you think about it, you were born and you were about this big, 7, 8, 9 pounds. But now I'm almost 200 pounds, right? So how did that happen? Well, I ate food. You put food in, your body does magic, and it makes. That's right. Your body you're made of food. You're made from food. That's where all of the constituents came from to put the meat on your bodies to make your organs and your blood and everything. So food's a great foundation. And we could talk about that all you want.
Yeah.
But there's other factors, obviously, though, in a good lifestyle.
Yes. Before we go there, I just want to go back to our topic, gastrointestinal pathogens. How
Okay.
can we, because I know GI test, we do it for many clients. That's the first thing, that it should be clean and good for any clients, even if they have fertility issues or any other problem, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, pathogens are very stressful to the body. Stress has an effect on and makes every health problem worse. So when I say stress, you might think, well, that's your job, you don't like it, or your money situation, or your family situation, or something mental, emotional, driving through traffic, or whatever it is. So stress comes in many, many forms, not just mental, emotional stress, the examples I just gave you. Stress can be chemical, it can be biochemical, it can be pathogens, it can be parasites, bacteria, viruses, it could be funguses. Viruses, we well know in this day and age. You heard a lot about those lately. So, but they're just as stressful as getting punched in the face or having another accident. You fall down, you hurt your leg or your arm or you bash your head or something. So there's all kinds of stress. And, I classify GI pathogens just one more stressor. They're just another thing that comes along. They usually attack the weak. That's a very important consideration, especially today. If you think about it, now COVID is not considered a GI pathogen, but it is a pathogen and it will make you very sick. The weaker you are, the less resistant you are, the more sick you might get, and the more quickly it might work inside your body. So all pathogens are kind of like that. They like a weak host. So our job is to help get people really healthy and be really resistant. I'm not here to teach you how to treat your pathogens. There's lots of natural ways with some pathogens. Some of these natural botanical treatments have been around for 2,000 years, 3,000 years. I mean, long, long time. There's lots of ancient wisdom that can be used. But the most important of all, the ancient wisdom, if you want, is to stay healthy. Just stay really healthy and be very resistant to these GI pathogens that come along. We could talk about how to do that or take it wherever you want to go.
Yes, please. we
Yeah.
we gotta concentrate on GI because I know a
Okay, I
lot of
understand.
people have
Yeah.
problems.
Well, the GI tract obviously processes food and also keeps us from getting disease. So we call it the mucosal barrier, and there's many all over your whole body. Um, we have to keep that very healthy. It's your natural immune system. About 80% of your immune system is in the GI tract, and it's there to prevent you from getting sick from all of the pathogens, all the germs. Again, there's parasites and bacteria and fungus and even virus, and you ingest these things, not to mention all the chemicals that might be going down there. So the mucosal barrier's job is to allow food in. We just talked about diet, eating really good, high quality, nutrient dense foods, your macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs, all the micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids and amino acids and antioxidants and phytonutrients for sure. So all this stuff goes down. You want the good stuff to come in, be processed, and end up, going where it's supposed to, we hope. But at the same time, it keeps out the pathogens and the antigens things you're sensitive to, things that your body does not want inside. And so that's a critical job. Now, that whole system can start to break down in a very slow, insidious way. You have what's called the good and bad flora, and is a balance there. Everything we do in natural medicine is about the balance. So we have this balance of good and flora, bad flora. Um, Good flora should be abundant, and it should protect you, and it also helps break down your food. So it's there for a reason. You have pounds of it sitting there. Now, let's say you got an earache, or you just got the flu or something, and because it happens even to good people. So you take some antibiotics, and those antibiotics will break down. They kill the bad bugs, but they kill the good bugs too. Now you have less of this healthy microbiome, we call it the microbiota of the gut, are diminished. And what can happen is they grow back, but now the bad is more than the good, or a higher percentage. Now you hear different people say different things, but about a 4-to-1 ratio would be good. 80% good flora, 20% bad flora. Not really bad, but matter of fact, you might ask me, why have any unwanted biota in the gut? Why have any? Because it keeps your immune system in tune. It keeps your immune system hovering, surveilling for the really bad things. So this most of this unwanted flora, we can deal with it, or it's a balance and it's perfectly fine. But when it gets out of balance, then guess what happens? It starts to penetrate through the gut into the body. Your body tries to flush it out, but it just goes back and forth, causing problems. And pretty soon you get a weakened mucosal barrier. Now you can't stop the germs so much like before. And when you get worse germs coming down, other bacteria, even parasites, fungus now, they're very opportunistic. They see a weakness and they want to set up residence, set up shop, and continue to exude their toxins that they produce. Well, those toxins also can get through that, what we call leaky gut or hyperpermeability. So when you think of GI pathogens, it's actually very complex. There's an ecology there. And if you remember where I started before my health career, I was an environmentalist and conservationist. I know a few things about the ecology of the planet, and it applies to the human being too. It's an amazing, what a beautifully thought out, intelligent, very complex, but very intelligent ecology inside of us. And so, again, as a FDN practitioner, functional diagnostic nutrition, we look for the healing opportunities. We run our laboratory work. One of them would be to identify unwanted pathogens. But we also look at how much good pathogen or good bacteria is in there. We look at the balance and the whole picture. So we can look at that mucosal barrier. We can look at the microbiota to make sure it's digesting and protecting you, and on from there. It's very fascinating.
Yes, it is. And how can we order these labs? Do we have to go to functional medicine? Because I know not everywhere in the world they are available in conventional medicine.
Yeah, well, we've been training people since 2008. We have thousands of practitioners in 50 different countries. I think there's a fdnthrive.com on the bottom of the screen. I'm seeing something go by there. That's one of our websites where the consumer could go for some help. But um, you could ask if your doctor isn't running some of these tests. Maybe you're asking him or her to please run those. Would be important. But they'd have to have a really good reason. They don't just run them randomly because you say so. You want to find a functional medicine practitioner who's more familiar with this type of work. Unfortunately, the standard medicine today still, once they listen to your complaints, and they would run a standard blood chemistry panel, and most of the time you're going to hear there's nothing wrong with you because
Exactly.
yeah. Have you ever had that? People say, yeah.
Yes, too many times. Even For my clients, I see their results like blood test work. And first, I said, because I'm not medical doctor, you have to talk to your doctor first. And the doctor said everything is normal. Then I go through the blood tests and I see many of their blood tests are not in optimal range, especially for thyroid, because fertility comes, many fertility issues comes from thyroid issues. And then I said, no, you need to go and talk again because there are some issues on this and this and this. But because I'm not medical doctor, so I can't really um, like follow this blood test. They have to go and check. But this is good because no, these days we know that we have to be in optimal range, not only normal, because sometimes normal is very close to the border.
Yes.
Yes,
Well, I understand, and that's exactly what I was saying. You know, that if you've been turned away by your physician that nothing's wrong with you, I want to assure you you're not crazy. There probably is something somewhere that's making you feel less than, something about the way you feel or look that you're not happy with, then sometimes you have to dig a little bit deeper. And
exactly.
remember, yeah, that's not exactly the standard medicine practitioner's job. Their job is to rule out serious disease, life threatening things. Like, for instance, if you had headaches, I would want to know, do you have food sensitivities? Do you have pathogens? Do you have toxicity? I would want to know everything about you, and I would want to run some labs and figure out what's really wrong. But a medical doctor, if you had persistent headaches, would think maybe you have a brain tumor, something like the very serious that could kill you. And then he would scan your brain, or he would scan your head, and if there's a brain in there, he would say, "Oh, it looks fine to me."
Exactly. One of the like very recent um, friend we had, and she actually had some problem coughing and lung. They said, okay, you don't have COVID because it's not positive. Then they sent her home. But then the infection to took it to the back, and all the infection took her body, and again they didn't realize it what's happening there. And unfortunately we lost her, and because nobody could go deeply through her issue. And this is so, with somebody who didn't have any health issue before, and suddenly this infection comes, and again they couldn't realize what was the problem, the root cause. There are so many examples of this, and that's my mission, to tell them, no, there are more tests, you need to do more tests. Again, I had another relatives, the symptom was her feet really hurt. And then they didn't realize what happened. They said, oh, you may have wrong shoes or something like this. And and sorry. And then after sometimes they realized she had lung issue. You
Hmm.
see, for few months, she had painful antibiotic and so many different medication, and they didn't realize, and those antibiotic even was not really good for her. After finding the lung issue, then they went through the true treatment. So that's the problem. If you don't, you just stick to symptoms, there are so many disease that is really related to the symptoms. So you're gonna be lost. That's why the whole body system should be checked, and that's what you do with the GI pathogens and food sensitivity. That I believe that's from many clients and many patients, because gut is very important part of your body. If the gut doesn't work properly, the nutrition, even you cannot take the right nutrition, it doesn't work for you, right?
Yes, I know a lot of people like to single out the gut and they become a gut specialist and things like that. But I really always try to take a step backwards. And I'll give you our famous formula, if you will. And this, again, I worked this out over 10 years, running thousands of labs on thousands of people. I always check on everybody 6 things. And the acronym is HIDDEN, HIDDEN. If you check these things and you create balance and restore function in the hormone, immune system, digestion, detoxification, energy production, and nervous system balance, like the autonomic, sympathetic, parasympathetic. So HIDDEN, it spells hidden. So and also they're hidden. So it's kind of cool. But hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, energy production, nervous system. If you can make some observations about dysfunction or imbalance in those areas, and then apply the healing principles, and that's what the person gets to do themselves. We're their guide, and we can give them lots of the data, all the test results, correlate that very highly. This usually explains perfectly why you feel or look lousy or can't have a baby or whatever it is. And then you just go do this. So back to my analogy of, if we have time, you pretty much you lived yourself into that problem. It's been going on for a long time, and it has to do with I'll give you the magic formula for correcting this. What do we have you do over this time? DRESS. So that's diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, supplementation, DRESS. So we look for the hidden stressors, and we make our assessments, what needs healing and balancing, and what it might be, and then how you're going to do it. Okay, so it requires, once we create the program, the DRESS program, the customer has to run the program. And the good news, here's the great news. Most people are used to going to a physician and being told, here's your prescription, get that filled. You take this for 90 days and you come back to me. We say, here's your test results. This is why you feel so lousy. Here's things to do. And for 90 days, we're going to be there with you to implement and to get feedback from your body and correct course as we go, and continue to ongoing assessment and correction. So it's not here, do this for 90 days. It's let's work together 90 days. And here's all of the things we're going to work on. So that's the difference between an FDN practitioner and some medical practitioners.
Exactly. I like it. I like the hidden formula. And what was the another
The
one?
dress is
Dress one.
the
Yeah.
behavior. Dress is the protocol.
Yes. I love it. I really wish everybody can hear this, because there are lots of hidden issues. And I was talking to another functional medicine practitioner, and she was also a naturopath doctor. And she said, if somebody diagnosed with cancer, she actually battled with other issues herself, and she didn't realize it. That was there hidden for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And no, she just realized it. When you have cancer, it means that these issues were there already and you didn't discover it.
Yeah, cancer is one of those weird animals where you've had a lot of breakdown in the body, usually within the cells, and you get mutation, and then mutation can go wild and get, believe it or not, your body thinks it's protecting you, and it actually makes things worse. Like through stem cell proliferation of mutating cells, you get advanced both the apoptosis and cell death, or you get carcinogenic growth, and again, it can be very serious. It can kill you. So that's why doctors are really good people to have around, because they can intervene. So I have a friend, Tom O'Brien. He says doctors are good because, let's say you just get really sick, they can put the life preserver on you. Like you're in the pool you're drowning. You need a life preserver. You have to get up out of the water and over to the edge, and then now you're ours. Now you're in our backyard. We can work around the edges of that thing and see where it goes from there. Everybody's different. Everybody has different amounts of, let's say, vitality, or we call it actually vital reserve or metabolic reserve. This is the intelligence that's in your body that will fight for you.
Yeah,
You need to help it along. I mean, you can't, there's lots of good support that can be used and given. And of course, you always have to look at the source and whatever got you in trouble in the first place. If you work in a chemical factory or around asbestos, or if you just really eat really terrible food all the time, or and so on and so on. So we're always trying to find the source, the underlying causes, conditions, and things like that. But it's why we work so well. We actually work together with doctors. We have our backyard, and they have their backyard, and there's like a bridge to their backyard, and that's our bridge too. We have our backyard, we have the bridge to their backyard, but we don't cross the line. I've ran thousands of labs on thousands of people, or you might say reviewed thousands of labs, but I've never given a medical diagnosis ever because
mm,
it's not my
me
job.
too.
Yeah, I don't want to label something and here's your treatment, because the algorithms for that diagnosis treatment algorithm, it's just very narrow, and doctors actually aren't free to do everything that they might do because of their licensure and their specialty and
Exactly.
other things. Yeah, so
Yeah, Reed,
it
I just want
requires
to
help.
add, yeah, sorry. I just want to add something here because I talk with medical doctors, and the moment they had their own health issues and they use holistic medicine, acupuncture, or functional medicine, I'm talking on behalf of them. The actually functional medicine or holistic medicine is not alternative. That's for sure. They are complementary. So medical, conventional medicine and functional medicine can work together to change your lifestyle, diet, because your medical doctor cannot be the whole way for 90 days with you, work with you. You need a plan for your diet, for going more deeply on your root cause of your issue. And I think when I talk to these medical doctors, they say as soon as I work with functional medicine, my eyes are more open to go more deeply on diagnosis. I can use my own practice to help my patients, but I feel more connected to them because I can go deeply on their issues, talk to them, spend more time with them, and that's amazing because I feel the connection between patient and doctor get stronger with this holistic medicine because they have to go through the whole body, not just a specific symptoms and a specific part of the body.
Yeah, sure. I know doctors signed up to help people, and they do. If you get uh, if you come off of an airplane from West Africa and your temperature is 105, you're not going to call your nutritionist. You're going to go straight to the doctor, get some
Yeah,
medicine, and get out of the woods, get out of the drowning pool. So we work very well together. Still, though, I mean, when you mentioned complementary in that, when I started in the 90s, it was really alternative medicine. Most it was considered by some voodoo or quackery and things like that. Nobody was running these kind of labs, the saliva testing, stool testing, urine testing, and things. It was out of the box for sure. But it slowly went, actually, it's only been 20 years, and it went through complementary medicine, integrative medicine, functional medicine. Jeffrey Bland is considered the father of functional medicine. He
yeah,
did start three decades ago, maybe four, um, with the way of thinking, and he calls it personal lifestyle medicine, and that's very close to what we do. Again, we don't offer any medical diagnosis. It's just here's what's not working right. Here's what's out of balance, and it's we call it a healing opportunity, and then we educate the person, how to take control. Because I'll say this about when I first started. This is really important. In 1999, I told you I went working in the office and got to work on patients, and it amazed me that they were all caught in this cycle of trial and error, going from one practitioner to the next, never really solving their problem, and getting pretty desperate in some cases. And I said to a lot of these people early on that that's a ripoff. But I also thought, why are you giving control of your health to someone else? Here, you went to this one and that one and this one. Why give that person the control? You want to take control. And what did we all learn last year? This is 20 plus years later. We're still learning. Someone else will take control if you don't take it. A lot of people got shut down, put out of business, died, and someone else is go over here and take your medicine and geez, I don't want to get into that too much,
Yeah,
but it was a disaster, right?
exactly.
So we all have to be in control of our own health. That's the
I
most
like it.
important thing.
Yeah, that's the difference between different perspective and mindset. Because I had a client, she was 47-year-old and she got pregnant with a healthy baby. And then I had a client, she was only in early 30s and she was very disappointed. You
Mm.
see, that's the mindset. And nobody can help you if you can't help yourself. So, because yes, you give them instruction, you maybe tell them that, yeah, this is a plan, you have to take this nutrition. But if they don't follow this plan and they are not consistent, then they're not going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the DRESS program works. DRESS. It works. We don't guarantee results, but we guarantee we're here for the right reason, and that you can have some very reasonable expectations. Before we get started working with someone, we decide what it is that we want to work on. What is your main complaint? And all these historical features. But then what do you expect to get out of it for the next, say, 90, 120 days? What would you reasonably expect to occur? If you want to go from a size 13 dress to a size 1 in 90 days, that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But if you have so that's what we promise: reasonable expectations. And you still have to do the program. It does, and we're not going to sprinkle fairy dust on you, and this is all going to happen.
Exactly.
You're going to eat right. You're going to go to bed. You're going to exercise. You're going to reduce stress. We're going to help you identify all those stressors, especially the hidden HIDDEN stressors. And we'd probably recommend some supplementation for support and things like that. I don't have my own brand and I don't sell supplements, but I know a lot about them, so we teach. But the point that I was trying to make is that you are going to have to live more consciously and get off automatic, because people are on automatic. They just shovel in the same old stuff. Why? Because they're not really conscious on a you know day-to-day basis what they're doing. They're doing it all unconsciously. They're drinking, their eating habits, their sleeping habits, their how much TV they watch. You name the lifestyle, whether they go to the gym or not. It's almost an unconscious living, and
Yes.
that's the another part of the problem.
Yes. I'm so happy we still have another show with you with Green Healing. And we got to talk more because this is a broad range of issues and people need to be aware of it. And I'm so happy that I have this opportunity to have you and use this resource
Yeah.
for my audience.
Well, you
Yes.
can use me all you want. I'm here to help. Yeah.
Thank you. And this is your website, fdnthrive.com. And another, you said mdiet.com, that K
M,
already,
yeah, mtdiet.com.
ntdiet.com, right? Yes.
Yes.
And so if they want to reach, what is fdnthrive.com? You said, can you just repeat it for my audience?
Yeah, there
How?
it is, fdnthrive.com. FDN is the system I developed. It stands for Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, and it just kind of stuck with us. And so we also have an FDN course for people who would want to take a course. They would go to fdn.today/fertility, in
Uh-huh.
honor of today's show, fdn.today
Oh,
slash
I have to write it.
fertility. Yeah, we could put that in the notes there too, or on the
And you said
Facebook.
FDN?
fdn dot today slash
Uh-huh.
fertility. So,
Fertility. Oh, that's interesting that you have for fertility as well. I like it.
well, we made it up for you. So if people visit there, we'll know they came from your show, and we'll know that your
That's
listeners
it.
actually
FDN
actually
today.
like us. Yeah, yeah. fdn dot today. There it is, right there. So you see it on the bottom of the screen now. It's very good. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so if we have a course we teach. Some people take the course just because they want to learn. You don't have to be a practitioner to take it. If you take it, you're going to do all the work on yourself. All my students, they all do the work on themselves. It's required, and so that alone could be worth the price of admission for a lot of people. But we teach people how to do this as a professional. You can make a very good living doing it and if you want to help others, and you're willing to walk the talk, then it might be a good vocation as well.
Wow. Thank you so much. You specifically have it for fertility, which is awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I really enjoy talking to you, and hopefully,
My pleasure.
yeah, we can have you again on this
Yep,
show.
yep. We'll
Yeah.
come back. Thank you.
Yes, we come back again. Thank you
And
so much.
nice talking to everybody. Thanks
Oh,
for your questions. We're
yes,
done.
thank you.
Yeah.